Hi everybody, and you are very welcome to our Los Angeles English School YouTube channel. If you don't know me yet, my name is Helen. I'm head teacher here at Los Angeles English School, and today we're going to talk about advanced grammar. So if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel yet and you'd like to get notified of all our upcoming videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, so of course if you'd like to. And today, as I said, we're going to talk about grammar. I hope that, of course, if you are an advanced student or even intermediate student, of course you've heard about modals: must, can, could, and so on. But today we're going to take a look at these modal verbs to talk not about their usual meaning, not about their usual function. I mean, most of the time we talk about must or can in terms of responsibilities and abilities, but today we're going to talk about these modal verbs in terms of expressing certainty and possibility, so when we aren't sure. Alright guys, so let's get down to work. I have a presentation for you. Alright, so now we're going with you to, I will walk you through all the necessary steps, and I'd like you to take part in this, be active, and write your answers in the chat box. Alright, so let's do it together. Okay, so first we're going to talk about possibility. So, for example, if you talk that something is possible but you aren't actually sure, you can say some adverbs like maybe, perhaps, like I'm not sure, but I think so. For example, here you have a picture and like you look at this guy and you can say, perhaps he works in the bank. Yeah, so it's okay. You can say it like this, no problem, but you also could say it in a little bit different way. So, to express possibility, and now we will take a look at the present. So if you are talking about the present simple, for example, the present time, instead of saying perhaps he works in the bank, you could use modal verbs may, might, or could, and then to say work. So instead of perhaps he works in the bank, so I'll remove this, and try to make a sentence. So instead of perhaps he works in the bank, what, guys, do you think you can say? Let me know in the chat box if you know the answer. So you can write down he may, or he might, or he could work in the bank. So this is what you can say. He may work in the bank, he might work in the bank, he could work in the bank, but I'm not sure really. Maybe yes, maybe no. So where are your answers? Let me see them. So I could work harder. He might work in the bank. Yeah. Okay, great, guys. So let's move on to future. So sometimes we can think about the future, and here you can see the guy, and this person is looking at a huge cloud, and you can say, take an umbrella. It's possible, it's likely that it will rain later. So it's possible, or it's likely that it will rain later. In what way can you paraphrase this? So what do you think, guys? So instead of I think it will rain later, what can you say? So you can say take an umbrella, it may, or it might, or it could rain later. So it may rain later, it might rain later, or it could rain later. So as you see, you can talk about the future in this way. Exactly, Victoria, it may rain later. Yeah, that's correct. And by the way, hi everybody, I can see Dmitry, Alexander, Victoria. Nice to see you guys today. All right, so also we have here some information, but we use only might, not may, when the situation is not real. So I hope that you can see this, it's here. So, for example, if they paid me better, I might work harder, not may work harder. So if the situation is unreal, this is something that has to do with second conditionals. So you would use I might work harder, but not may work harder. You can say I could work harder, but not may. All right, so let's take a look at continuous, because you can use this also when you talk something that is happening about something that is happening right now. So for example, you can see that person, and here you have perhaps he is waiting for somebody. So in what way can you paraphrase this sentence? So perhaps he is waiting for somebody, or you could say, so what do you think you can say? Or you can say he may, or might, or could be waiting for somebody. So this is what you can say. So he may be waiting for somebody, he might be waiting for somebody, or he could be waiting for somebody. Like, do you know what this guy is doing? Oh, I don't know, he might be waiting for somebody, or he could be waiting for somebody. All right, so let's take a look at the past as well, because you can also use this in the past, and it doesn't matter what tense you actually mean. Maybe it's past simple, maybe it's present perfect, maybe it's past perfect. So everything that happened in the past. So for example, we can say, I can't find my phone anywhere. Perhaps I left it at home. So instead of perhaps I left it at home, what do you think you can say using may, might, or could? So give me your ideas. Let me know in the chat box. So instead of maybe I forgot it somewhere, or I left it somewhere, you can say I can't find my phone anywhere. I may or might or could have left it at home. So you can say I may have left it at home, I might have left it at home, or I could have left it at home. And you will always use have, and it doesn't matter if it's he or she, because you look at may, might, and could. So I may have left it at home, I might have left it at home. By the way, instead of saying might have, you can say might have. I might have left it at home, or I could have left it at home. It means could have left. So this is how past works. Also, another option, like another usage of this, it's here you have an example. Why did you tell him this joke? It was possible to hurt him, but it didn't happen. So may is not normally used in this case. What here we can say? So for example, the situation, it was possible to hurt somebody, it didn't happen. So you can say you might or could have hurt him. So why did you tell him this joke? You might have hurt him, or you could have hurt him. Because it didn't happen, the situation was not real, you don't use may in this case. You might have hurt him, you could have hurt him. All right, so now together we're going to practice this, all right? So here we will see some sentences, and we need to remake these sentences together. So, and guys, let's try and do this. So here you can see the first sentence. Maybe she's still sleeping. Maybe she's still sleeping. Let's try and remake the sentence by using could, may, or might. Go for it. Type it in the chat box. She might still be sleeping. Yeah, exactly. That's correct answer. So maybe she is still sleeping. You can say she may or might or could still be sleeping. So she may still be sleeping, she might still be sleeping, she could still be sleeping. So this is the correct option. All right, let's go to the second one. They probably stayed at this hotel a long time ago. They probably stayed at this hotel a long time ago. Go for it and try to remake it. Again, you need to use may, might, or could. Don't forget that you are talking about the past. So the answer would be they may or might or could have stayed at this hotel a long time ago. So they might, could, or may have stayed at the hotel. So this is how it works. So they may have stayed, or they might have stayed, or they could have stayed at this hotel. And I hope that you did well. Let's go to number 3. Why did you go there? It was possible to get into trouble. Can you try and remake the sentence? It was possible to get into trouble. I can see Oscar here. Hi, Oscar. So you can join us anyways and try and do exercises with us if you want to practice. You could have gotten into trouble. Exactly. Yeah, that's the correct answer. So you can say you could, or you might have gotten into trouble. Pay attention that we don't use may here because this situation didn't happen. And if it was unreal, you don't use may. So you could have gotten into trouble, you might have gotten into trouble. By the way, if you are learning British English, so for the British, it's also possible to say you could have got into trouble, because 3 forms of get for British is get, got, got. Americans get, got, gotten. So I just typed the American version here. So number 4, maybe you forgot the keys on the desk. Try and remake this sentence, please. So we have you could have forgotten the keys on the desk. Yeah, and this is the correct answer. You can say you could, or you might, or you may have forgotten the keys on the desk. So you could have forgotten, you might have forgotten, or you may have forgotten. Let's go to number 5. Probably these people are police officers. A very easy one. Probably these people are police officers. Try and remake this one. So you can say these people may or might or could be police officers. Could be police officers. So these people maybe, might be, or could be police officers. All right, and now guys, I hope that you did well. And let's go to some questions. So I'll ask you some questions and I want you to think about the answers. So the first question here, you actually can see the questions on the screen, just to make it easier for you. And the first question is, why might you feel under pressure? If you are watching this video as a replay, try to answer this question. And if you are watching it right now, live with me, type this in the chat box. So why might you feel under pressure? Try to use might in your answer. So it's interesting. So we have some answers. I might feel under pressure when I've got something important to accomplish and I feel that I'm not going to meet the deadline. Yeah, it's really pressure. Yeah, true. So I might feel under pressure when somebody supervises me. It's like when somebody has to grade me or to give me the evaluation. I think it's very important, but I kind of feel under pressure. So I might feel under pressure when I'm being supervised. All right, let's go to the next question, guys. What do you think your wife or your husband might be doing now? So if it happens that you are not married yet, you can think about your mom or somebody who you live with, or your maybe best friend. So think about a person who you know very well and guess what this person might be doing right now. And use might or may or could in your answer. Try, go for it. So, my boyfriend might be working right now. Okay. My husband, I think my husband might be watching this live stream right now. So, the next question, what do you think you could have done today but you didn't do? So you could have done, but you didn't do it today. What is this? Maybe you wanted, but you didn't have time, or you were lazy. So I could have gone jogging today, but I didn't wake up on time. Yeah, sometimes we want to sleep. It happens. I understand you. So today I could have made breakfast, but I didn't do it. Actually, I had breakfast, but it was not me who did it. So I could have made breakfast, but I didn't do it. All right, let's go to the next question. So you have a flight booked to go to New York tomorrow. What might stop you? So we imagine the situation. Let's try it. Sorry, I'm late. Morning, teacher. Hi. So, Hitler, but you have this very frightening name, you know? But all right, I hope that you don't like this person. Anyways, good morning. So, for example, if let's imagine I have a flight booked to go to New York tomorrow. What might stop you? I think that some maybe circumstances in my family might stop me, or maybe something might happen to my house, maybe something, my pipes, for example, could leak. Then it might stop me. So what about you? My fear might stop me. I'm afraid of flying. Yeah, but you have this flight booked, don't forget. Or if I forget my documents. So you can say, it might stop me if I forget my documents. Okay, all right. Thank you for your ideas. Yes, I want to learn English. All right, so let's go on. Now we're going to move to the next part of this grammar, and we're going to look at certainty. So what is certainty? Certainty, it's when you are sure. You know that even if here we have like certainty, and we can use must instead of could, may, and might, but I should say that even if you use must, it's still like you have some doubts. It's just you're a little bit more sure, you're a little bit more certain, but still there is doubt, just for your information. All right, so let's go to certainty. As I said, instead of may, might, and could, you have to use must to express that you're more sure. So it's not just possibility, still possibility, but more sure. As I said already, sorry, I'm repeating myself too much. All right, so we have a woman and she wanna sleep. So she's been studying all day. She certainly is tired. So instead of she certainly is tired, what do you think you can say? You can say she must be tired. She must be tired. So this is how you use must in this case. So she must be tired. You also can talk about the future, and I have here example. So it's when you want to say that something is likely to happen in the future, must works a little bit different from might, may, and could. And you need to use construction must be to or must be plus ing. So, and I have some examples here. So what are all those workmen doing? I think they must be going to dig up the road. So they must be going to dig. Or I was wrong about the meeting being today. It must be happening next Friday. So this is how it works in this situation. Let's take a look at continuous form. So if you are talking about continuous, so you would use construction must be plus ing. So for example, I'm sure that he's waiting for somebody. I'm sure that he's waiting for somebody. What do you think, guys? How can you say it in a different way with must? Can you try and type it in the chat box? So I'm sure that he's waiting for somebody. How can you say it in a different way with must? So I have here some questions. She must be tired. Logical conclusion. Yeah, logical conclusion, and it's true, you are more sure. He must be waiting for somebody. I have answer, Oscar. Yeah, exactly, that's correct. Yeah, so he He must be waiting. He must be waiting for somebody. So here we don't speak about his responsibility. We assume that it's true that this is why he's standing here. So we don't talk about obligation, we talk about assumption, okay? So in the past, let's go to the past now. So he surely borrowed the car. That's not his car. How can you paraphrase this sentence? He surely borrowed the car. What do you think? So instead of he surely borrowed the car, you would say he must have borrowed the car. So he must have borrowed the car. I'm sure that this is not his car. So must have borrowed or must have borrowed. And I can see the correct answer. Yeah. Okay, great. So guys, now let's practice more. So again, when you talk about certainty, it's still an assumption, but you are more certain, you would use must. And let's go and practice this a little bit more. So here I have the task for you, and the first one is here. We need to make some assumptions. So the first one, this cafe is surely very good. It's always full of people. So instead of saying this cafe is surely very good, you can say this cafe. What can you say, guys? What do you think? Are written contractions possible? They are possible only in informal writing. This cafe must be very good. Yeah, exactly. And this is the correct answer. So this cafe must be very good. Must be. All right, let's go to the second one. Everyone's going into the hall. Let's go. The meeting is definitely going to start soon. So we need to paraphrase, the meeting is definitely going to start soon. Try and go for this one. The meeting must be starting soon, or the meeting must be going to start soon. Perfect. Yeah, that's great. So the meeting must be going to start soon. Or you also can say the meeting must be starting soon. So the both options are okay. Must be going to start. Must be starting. Okay, let's go to number 3. No doubt this man stole the money. How can you paraphrase this sentence? So you can say this man must have stolen the money. must have stolen. So you write have, but you can say must have. This man must have stolen the money. Number 4, I'm sure he was very sick. So why didn't he come to our lesson today? No, yesterday, sorry. Why didn't he come to our lesson yesterday? I'm sure he was very sick. Let's paraphrase it. So you would say he, because it was in the past, he must have been very sick. So he must have been very sick. Must have been. Must have been. Yeah, and I can see answers. Must have been. Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 5. I'm sure you have the key. Have you looked in your pocket? How can we paraphrase I'm sure you have the key? Very easy. So you would just say you must have the key, that's it. You must have the key. Have you looked in your pocket? So here we cannot contract it, so you must have the key. So number 6. I can't access the database. I'm sure you entered a wrong password. I'm sure you entered a wrong password. How can you say it in a little bit different way? So, I'm sure you entered the wrong password. You must have entered a wrong password. You must have entered. Or you must have entered. You must have entered a wrong password. Okay, guys, I hope that you did well. And now we're going to practice it a little bit more, all right? So here we have some situations and you need to respond to these situations. So let's try, all right? Just a moment. Okay, so for example, we have a situation, you've been working all day and you say, you must be really tired. We have a situation and we make an assumptions based on this situation and we use must. So the first one, I often see that woman walking along the street. So let's imagine someone says, you know, I often see this woman walking along the street. Let's make an assumption together. Let's try to use must. Let's practice that we are certain about something, okay? So do you have any ideas here? You can share them. So we have a question why you say must have and not must in sentence 6. Let's go back. I will answer this question. So you must have entered the wrong password. So you need to say must have entered, because if you speak about the past, there is the construction. We make an assumption about the past and we say must have happened. Something must have happened. Just remember this thing and that's it. Alright, so now we go to the situation. I often see that woman walking along the street. So do you have any assumptions? So for example, you can say she you can say she must be living nearby. She must be living nearby, or she must be living in this neighborhood. Something like this. Or she must be lonely and she's walking alone every day. All right, so my house is very close to the highway. So let's make an assumption to this situation. My house is very close to the highway. So if my house is very close to the highway, I can say, for example, it must be really noisy. Oh, it must be really noisy. Okay. It must be very noisy. Yeah, I can see we have the same ideas. All right, so the next one. She's putting on her PJs. So if you don't know, PJs means pajamas. This is the contraction of this word. So she's putting on her PJs or pajamas. Let's make an assumption. So my assumption is she must be going to bed. She must be going to bed. Must be going. All right, let's go to she must be going to sleep. All right, yeah, that's correct. The next one. I know he's home, but I've just knocked on the door and there is no answer. Let's make an assumption. What ideas do you guys have? You know, I have an assumption that he must be taking a shower. He must be taking a shower. I think it's possible when you are having a shower, you cannot hear anything. So my assumption, he must be taking a shower. Oh, we have, he could have put his headphones on. Yeah. Or he must have put his headphones on to practice math, but could is also okay. Thank you. All right, let's go on. I haven't seen our... Oh, I have an answer. We'll just remove it. So, I haven't seen our neighbors in a year. I haven't seen our neighbors in a year. Let's make an assumption here, okay? So, I can assume that they must have gone somewhere. So, or they must have relocated somewhere. So you would say must have gone or must have relocated. Must have moved out. Yeah, must have traveled. So if you say must have traveled, I understand what you mean. You could say they must be traveling, like they are doing this right now. They must be traveling. If you say they must have traveled, it's like they've done this and it's over and they are back. So you could say they must be traveling. It would be better. All right, so when I got back to my car, the door was unlocked. Let's make an assumption. When I got back to my car, the door was unlocked. So you could be here optimistic. I will try to be optimistic here, and I will make an optimistic assumption. I would say you must have forgotten to lock it. So you just must have forgotten to lock it. Must have forgotten. Let's look at your sentences. Oh, we have someone could have hacked it. I must have forgotten to lock it. Yeah, you also have the same idea as me. All right, the next one and the last one. I can't find one of my gloves. So gloves, if you don't know, you put on your hands. So I can't find one of my gloves. So what must have happened? What do you think? So you could say, you must have left it. You must have left it somewhere. Or you must have dropped it somewhere. Must have left, must have dropped. So you must have left it somewhere. You must have dropped it somewhere. So I see your answers. You must have lost it somewhere. Great. Must have left. Yeah, exactly. All right. You must have forgotten in the wash machine. Yeah, must have forgotten it in the washing machine. Exactly. All right. Let's go to one more thing. So finally, we are going to look at negative sentences, because negative sentences work a little bit different. So let's remember, if we talk about possibility, we can use may, might, can, and could. If you are more certain, you would use must. However, if you talk about negative sentences, it works a bit different. So if you want to express possibility, you really don't know anything, you aren't sure, you can use may not or might not. You don't use can't or couldn't or mustn't. So let's take a look at this. Again, negative, possibility, may not, might not. So let's look at some examples. Perhaps they don't know about it. Perhaps they don't know about it. How can you paraphrase it? Let's try. So you would say, they may not, or they might not know about it. So they may not know about it, they might not know about it. May not know or might not know. Like, don't worry, I think they even may not know about it. They might not even know about it. Don't worry. All right, let's take a look at your answers. Yeah, I can see correct answers. Great. All right, so the next, perhaps they're not playing there now. So let's imagine you're looking for your kids and you say to your wife or to your husband, perhaps they are not playing there now. Or you could say, they may not or might not They may not or might not be playing there. Like, you know, I don't know, they may not be playing there. They might not be playing there. Yeah, and I can see your answers. Thank you guys, great. You are doing a great job. And if you're not typing your answers, I am encouraging you, do it, no worries. All right, the next one. Perhaps it won't rain so heavily tomorrow. So let's imagine you're sitting at home, it's raining, and you say, oh, I wish we could go for a walk. And your friend says, oh, perhaps it won't rain so heavily tomorrow and we will go out. So you can say, it may not, or it might not rain so heavily tomorrow. It may not rain so heavily. It might not rain so heavily, and we will go for a walk. And the last example, so when we are talking about the past, so for example, perhaps we haven't studied it yet. It's like your teacher is asking you, do you remember if we learned those things? I actually can't remember. So you can say, I don't know. We may not or might not have studied this. I don't know, we may not have studied this, we might not have studied this, I'm not sure. All right, let's check how you are doing. Might not have studied. Yeah, exactly, you have the idea of how to make it, so you got it. All right, so let's go on. Finally, we are going to look at certainty. So you remember, if you are certain, you make an assumption, you use must. So they must be doing this right now, he must have forgotten about this. But it's interesting that if you're making the negative assumption, you think that this is impossible that it is happening, or it is impossible that it happened, you would use can't or couldn't. You don't use must here, and I'll show you this in a moment. So for example, you have a sentence, I'm certain they don't know about it. I'm certain they don't know about it. What do you guys think? How can you paraphrase it? Let me know in the chat box, so I will be waiting for your answers. So we don't use must because it sounds like prohibition. They can't know about it. Yeah, great. So you're very smart. So you need to say they can't, or you also can say they couldn't know about this. However, can't here works better. So I'm certain they aren't playing there. I'm certain they aren't playing there. What do you think you need to say? You don't need, but you can. So I have answers. They couldn't be playing there. Exactly. Yeah, so you can say they can't be playing there, or they couldn't be playing there. They can be playing there. They couldn't be playing there. All right, and we have one more sentence here. And it says, I'm certain that they haven't studied this yet. I'm certain they haven't studied this yet. So let's imagine you're a teacher and you're talking to your coworker and you say, you know, I'm sure they haven't studied this yet. You can teach them. So you would say they can't or they couldn't have studied it yet. So they can't have studied it yet. They couldn't have studied it yet. They can't have studied it yet. They couldn't have studied it yet. So this is how negative sentences work. So again, to talk about possibility, in negative you would say may not and might not, and if it's certainty and it's negative, you don't use must, you use can't or couldn't. All right, guys, I hope that you are doing great and I can see your answers, which is also very encouraging. Now, that actually brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope that you understood everything. If not, if you have some problems realizing all those things, I encourage you to watch this video one more time, and I don't leave you without homework. So here I have some sentences on the screen and I will copy these sentences and you will find them in the description below this video when it appears. So here you have sentences and there are 6. They probably don't know that we arrived. Perhaps it isn't true. It's so cold outside, they're surely not playing in the park now. It's impossible that this woman committed a crime. You surely didn't warn us about that, and perhaps she isn't working today. What I'd like you to do, try and remake these sentences by using may not, or might not, or can't, or couldn't. So let's practice negative sentences with modal verbs. So this is your homework, and I hope that you'll do it, and I'll check your answers. Type your answers in the comments below the video. All right, and that's actually it. So thank you again for being with me today. I hope that this lesson is helpful for you and you now can easily use modal verbs to express assumptions, certainty, or possibility. Again, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you'd like to get notified of all our upcoming videos and lessons. Also, if you want to study with us, you can visit our website, losangeles.englishschool.com, and you can check everything about our school, our approach, and you can study with us from any point of the world on Skype. Thanks again, guys. I'm very happy that you've joined me for today's live stream, and I hope to see you in my next lesson. Have a great one. Bye.